First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem, Rokakwadash. Yahweh to this world ignorantly calls God. Yahushua to this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Ba'ashem means in the name, Rakab means spirit, and Kodash means holy. And that's all in the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. In today's video, I wanted to go into how, in just 1 second, the internet can disappear.
This major outage of Amazon Web Services causing a number of high-profile websites to go dark this morning, although the shares are now in the green. Mackenzie Sagalos is shedding some light on what happened today. Morning, Mac.
Hey, good morning, Carl. So Amazon Web Services saying 10 minutes ago that there are significant API errors and connectivity issues across multiple servers in its U.S. East 1 region. We're expecting an update on that within a half hour. Now, this outage first hit early this morning, knocking dozens of companies offline, from government websites to crypto platforms and AI tools like Perplexity. AWS powers roughly a third of the cloud market, and the issue stemmed from a failure in its Northern Virginia data center, disrupting more than 70 services. Now, cyber experts say it wasn't a cyber attack, but it does highlight how fragile the internet's backbone has become, especially in the age of AI, where services like Anthropic rely on AWS to run their large language models in real time. Now, compared to last year's CrowdStrike meltdown, which was resolved quickly but left companies dealing with manual recovery for weeks, this was a different kind of failure. As one expert put it to me, CrowdStrike shut down the computers themselves while AWS shut down the services that those computers talk to. AWS's U.S. East 1 region has been a recurring point of failure for them. It is the cloud's busiest, most interconnected zone. And when something breaks there, the ripple effects spread fast. Morgan Stanley called the incident not helpful to already fragile AWS sentiment. They expect Amazon to issue credits to customers. Investors will have this in mind when Amazon reports earnings next week. Remember, AWS growth has been lagging behind Azure and Google, and backlog now trails Microsoft and Oracle. Guys?
I guess one of the questions is, Mackenzie, if it has any kind of lasting impact in the minds of their clients, right, and causes them to switch competitively. That's what we were all asking during the CrowdStrike outage as well.
Well, notably, OpenAI has not been an AWS customer. Anthropic, we've seen them diversify into GCP and this multi-cloud strategy to avoid this kind of disruption. We heard from the Perplexity CEO this morning attributing all of the disruption that they've seen to this AWS outage, and it is a huge concern, especially in this generative AI era where these companies are hungry for compute, and they are primarily getting it from these cloud providers while they build out all this infrastructure. Because all those OAI deals worth $1.5 trillion, it's not built yet, and it's not coming online for at least a year.
Mackenzie, thank you. Mackenzie Sagalos.
Okay, and there you have it. AWS outage knocks major AI and crypto providers offline, underscores fragility of cloud backbone. Okay, and when you go into what companies this affected, I have this article here. It goes into it affected Amazon, Venmo, Hulu, McDonald's, Coinbase, Snapchat, Ring, Roblox, Zoom, Lloyds Bank, Bank of Scotland, Signal, Government.uk, Wordle, Slack, Canva, Fortnite, Tidal, Duolingo, Microsoft 365, Pokemon Go, Coinbase, Strava, WhatsApp. Right? So one of the most important ones here is Amazon, Bank of Scotland, WhatsApp, and Venmo, which all this, those are the biggest names there, really. All these are big names, but those are, companies that have to deal with financial and communication. So a lot of people woke up today not able to go on Facebook, Snapchat, play their video games, and some not even able to access, the internet or their bank accounts. So the reason I'm making this video is because it's still down right now, right? They say, oh, we fixed it, but hey, Canvas down, right? You go to school, they've been using Canvas for like learning. It's an application, so Canvas down. So if you went to school, essentially you're not doing nothing when it comes to the internet. And this shows you how in 1 second, the internet can be shut off because it's all it has. This is like they call it
issues.
the reason why so many companies fell was because they're all on this AWS cloud service, which ultimately what that is, I'll search it up for those that don't know. Amazon Web Services is a subsidiary of Amazon that provides on-demand cloud computing platforms. So if you don't have the computing power to um, run your programs, you hop on this cloud service, and this cloud service essentially it's a bunch of computers that are together and use those computers through the internet to run whatever you got to run. But when I saw this in the morning today, the first thing that came to my mind was, hey, just like that, they could shut off all these companies, the internet, everything, and just like that, hey, this word is gone. So let's read that in Amos chapter 8 and verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. Right, so there's going to be a time where this word is not going to be readily accessible how it is right now because of things like this, right? Technology failing. But the main reason why is because this word is going to be deemed illegal. It's going to be deemed seditious. Okay, the prophets, okay, the teachers out there are going to be seen as terrorists because of the gospel that we speak, the gospel that the Messiah was speaking 2,000 years ago. Okay, it is controversial to this government because we're constantly pushing that this government is going to go down. So there's going to be a time where it's not going to be the famine of bread or water. It's going to be a famine of hearing the words of the Lord. Okay? And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. Right? So wherever you go, they're not going to be able to find the word. And this right here shows you how in an instant, my channel has nearly, 1,000 videos. But if you can't access the internet, what is it worth? What does it matter? Ultimately, in that day, if there's no internet, the only knowledge you got is whatever you retain, in your mind. And I can tell you that if you're lukewarm, these scriptures are not going to be in your mind like that. You're not going to be able to pull them, as we pull them. Because, the true believers are going to be in the Word 24/7, locked in. And the teachers, imagine how much more. So, this is why, when you go to Isaiah, it talks about how in that day, Isaiah 13 and 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Right, so in these times we're entering a man of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, okay, a teacher, a believer. But starting first with the teachers, okay, we're going to be the most valuable thing on the planet because we're going to have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of why everything's happening, what's coming next, and how to be protected, how to move. And that is going to be worth more than your food and your water because, with that knowledge, you can obtain food and water. You can obtain protection because the Lord is going to be the one that's giving it to you. So, one more time, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So, the Lord is about to turn up our power level, and He's about to give His men out there, that fame. And it's going to be both a good and bad thing. Because with fame, comes people that actually appreciate what you're doing, and it also brings haters. And those haters are going to be the one that are ultimately persecuting us and are going to turn us into the government for, money, bounties. Somebody could, we're not joking when we say these things. Okay, it's straight out of the scriptures. And the average person, if they were to hear, one of these videos, oh, that guy's crazy. I remember this dude commented on my channel. He said, you need to wake up or you need some help. He said something like that. But the reason these people put those comments is because they don't believe in what the Bible says. They think that this is just fairy tale. They look at what we say as fear mongering. Oh, all y'all talking about is fear, fear, fear. The end of the world. My grandma's been talking about that since the beginning. Nothing has happened. Right? That's the mentality of people. But just wait. Just wait. Hey, it says in Ezekiel 33 that then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. Right? So when all these things happen, you're going to remember the words that we were speaking about. And you're going to remember, damn, that guy was actually right. I should have listened. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. And as they say, the pain of discipline is less than the pain of regret. So it's better to just discipline your spirit and lock in right now than to later in the future have that regret, because it's going to hurt way more. So let's get this in 2nd Ezra 5 and 9. And salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber. All right, so we're going to enter times where wit, see what that word means, wit, mental sharpness, keen intelligence. Right, so give me a second. Right, as I was saying, so wit goes to mental sharpness. Right, so that mental sharpness of being sharp and knowing what's going on, that's going to hide itself. So people are going to be out here looking real lost. And that understanding, that wisdom of the scriptures is also going to be hidden, because the Lord is going to shut his prophets up. Okay, just wait. Hey, y'all look at us like we a bunch of losers. The bum camps, as some Israelite camps say, y'all a bunch of bums. Y'all some losers. Just wait. Those same losers you talking about are going to be the ones that were ultimately right since the beginning, and are going to be the ones that are eating and drinking when you're starving and your ribs are touching. So I'll leave it there. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rokah Kodash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of great millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom to your elect. Shalom.